Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming your mistress of ceremonies for tonight's program, co-host of CBS This Morning, contributor to 60 Minutes, and former CBS News Chief of White House Correspondent, Norah O'Donnell.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Grab your drinks, come sit down, because we're going to have a little bit of a program. Come on in. Join the community of friends. We'll dim the lights, but don't feel badly about moving around and sitting down. Just pay attention. That's all I ask. I'm Norah O'Donnell of CBS This Morning. Nice to see all of you, and thank you so much for being here. It's great to see all of you. This is the Melanoma Research Foundation's 16th annual Wings of Hope for Melanoma Gala. Tonight is a night of celebration, but we are also here on a mission, right? We have come together to raise critical funds to support the work of the Melanoma Research Foundation. It is the largest independent organization dedicated to melanoma. I'm in the news business, so I see what's happening. And the work that the MRF does is so critically important because at a time when melanoma diagnoses are increasing at epidemic rates. Did everybody here know that? It's stunning when you hear the numbers. This year alone, over 160,000 Americans. That is enough to fill every seat in Yankee Stadium 3 times. That's how many diagnoses there will be. And 10,000 people will be lost. This is the present reality for the melanoma community, but it doesn't have to be our future. The substantial progress that's been made and the work that lies ahead is only possible because of incredible individuals like all of you who share in this same mission to support this work, and we all stand united in the fight against melanoma. Your support here tonight, throughout the year, you're making an investment. You're making an investment in health, and you're making an investment in lives and the futures of those like myself who rely on this work. Some of you who watched CBS This Morning may know that I was diagnosed last year with melanoma. The good news is we caught it very early, but boy, did it scare the S-H-I-T out of me. To get a diagnosis like that, you wait, of course, for the results to come back. And you wait to make sure after the surgery that they got all the margins clear. And for me, I had a great doctor who caught it really early, a great surgeon who got all of it out. And so I am cancer-free, and I go every 4 months to get checked. But the most gratifying thing in learning that I had melanoma was sharing that story and then having so many people come up to me and say, I haven't been to the dermatologist in years, and I went to get checked because of you. And each of you who's had melanoma has a family member who has melanoma. Share the story. It's so important because it's a reminder to all of us to check our health, to prevent against disease, and to make sure we catch it early so we can cure it. Tonight, we're asking everybody here to make a pledge. So we have a pledge board at the entrance where you can sign your name and write down what you intend to do. Now, if you didn't get to sign the pledge board, maybe turn to the person on your right and say what you're going to pledge to do. You can pledge to check your own skin once a month. You can schedule a yearly dilated eye exam or encourage a friend. I learned about that myself in being diagnosed with melanoma. If everyone here can make one pledge and we ask our friends to do the same, imagine how many lives we can impact. My pledge is to get more people to get their skin checked, and for me to continue to make sure, despite my busy career and 3 young children, that I make it to my dermatologist every 4 months without fail, no matter what. All right, now let's have some fun. At most events, you're reminded to turn off your cell phones, put them away. Well, not here. 2 good reasons you should keep your phone close at hand. First, many of you may have already seen and bid on some of the silent auction items like beautiful jewelry, sports memorabilia, some amazing vacation experiences. So mobile bidding, continue to place your bids from your phone. The second reason I'm telling you you can keep your phone is selfies. That's right. Everybody want to do this real quick? Can we do like a group selfie? Pick up your phone. I want you to take a picture of yourself with the crowd in the room. And the reason is because we want you to tag Melanoma NYC or @CureMelanoma. Let everyone know you're here. That is social awareness. Yay, thank you for some selfies. Make sure you tag @CureMelanoma. All right, without further ado, it is my pleasure. Everybody done with the selfie? Not bad. Yeah, it's always better if you take the selfie above, not like this. Then you see the double chin. You go like this, up above. Happens to me too. All right, may I please have your attention? It is now my pleasure to introduce MRF Board Chair and Stage 4 melanoma survivor, Steve Silverstein. Please give him a round of applause.
I can't follow that, so you'll have to bear with me. Thank you so much, Nora. We are thrilled to have you as our Mistress of Ceremonies for the evening. And thank all of you for joining us tonight. This event continues to grow every year, as does the passion and commitment of the New York community. We celebrated our 20th anniversary last year, and it was the most successful gala to date, raising over $800,000. This year, we are well on track to raise almost $1 million. But I would like to point out that we're not quite there, but I mean, come on, you gotta help us get there tonight. It's truly amazing what this community has done, and I thank you all for your continued support through the years now. I want to thank this year's dedicated co-chairs, Rebecca Widman-Gans, Ton Hazelcorn, Matthew Sadowski, Elaine Vetted-Tack, and Leanne Tavasso. We really want to thank you for your leadership and your investment in the MRF. I would also like to thank our Gala Leadership Dream Team and the host committee. These individuals have worked diligently over the last year organizing this event. I'd also like to especially thank Anne-Marie Mojito, who co-chaired the journal for us this year. This takes tremendous amount of coordination, and they all worked incredibly hard to pull this together. I'd also like to take a moment and thank our financial sponsors. These individuals and companies have made incredible investments in this event, many giving year after year. Let's take a moment and give all these companies you can see a hand. I would also like to thank the individuals and companies that have donated goods and services as in-kind sponsors. All the restaurants here tonight are donating their food. As a not-for-profit, we rely heavily on in-kind contributions in order to keep our costs low so that we can allocate more funds to support our many missions. Lastly, I'd like to thank all the volunteers here tonight who are helping to make this the best evening possible. Let's give them all a round of applause. And an extra shout out to the MRF staff and Darren Port and their team who did so much great work behind the scenes to make this happen. I also have a privilege this evening of introducing publicly for the first time our brand new CEO, Ellie Bertha. Ellie comes to the MRF from the University of Maryland, where she served as the Assistant Dean of the School of Public Health. We are thrilled to have Ellie take over and lead this organization. Ellie, please stand up, and please let's welcome Ellie to the community. Now we would like to show you a little more of what the MRF does and how the dollars raised tonight are invested back into the melanoma community. Please direct your attention to one of the screens. Thank you. What can I do to help? When I was first diagnosed with melanoma, stage 4, I heard this question often from families and from friends. It's a question that resonates at the very heart of the melanoma community as we each begin our separate journeys. The Melanoma Research Foundation was founded by Diana Ashby, who took this question and turned it inside out. So she started an organization committed to medical research, which forever changed the melanoma landscape. Over 20 years later, the Melanoma Research Foundation is a community of caregivers, patients, and researchers. Working together, this group of dedicated individuals continues to find new ways to answer this question. For some, answering the question means participating in a Miles for Melanoma 5K run. Across the country, over 50,000 individuals of every age and ability have logged miles and raised money to fund the next treatment breakthrough. They're joined by more than 1,000 melanoma advocates who have organized their own creative fundraising awareness events. From elegant galas to competitive races, professional sports to pediatric melanomas, the MRF is building a community to meet and engage people when and where they're most comfortable. Throughout its history, the MRF has sought to amplify the patient's voice. Together, we've campaigned for increased melanoma research funding and have seen the federal research budget grow by tens of millions of dollars. Amplifying our community's voice is especially important for those facing the rarest types. MRF is leading efforts to expand research materials available for mucosal melanoma, a very rare form and often misdiagnosed. Since 2011, the MRF's Cure-OM initiative has brought together the ocular melanoma community and funded over $1 million of research and is now looking at a national registry. Within our community are those who dedicate their time and talent to varied research endeavors. Maybe it's a medical student or a young researcher whose career begins with a grant from the Melanoma Research Foundation. These collective efforts and the investment our community is making in research are paying off. Where treatment options were once highly limited, there are now 14 FDA-approved treatments for melanoma, with many more on the way. Many of these new drugs trace their early development to research grants from the Melanoma Research Foundation. The impact of these advances continues to grow, as many of the new drugs developed for melanoma are now being used in other cancers as well. Throughout the years, the MRF has been a wonderful place for those who want to get involved. More than 10 million patients, advocates, researchers, and caregivers have accessed melanoma.org. Thousands attend free patient symposia around the country, and even more host events in their own communities, spreading education about melanoma. As each new day brings us closer to a cure, the MRF staff, patient, volunteers will continue to ask, what can I do to help? I encourage everyone to continue seeking answers to this question, and I'm very confident that very soon we will not have to be asking this question anymore.
Thank you, Steve, for sharing your story and all that you do, Steve, your leadership. It's greatly appreciated. Speaking of great leaders, I would now like to invite co-chair Leanne Tavoso and journal chair Anne Marie Montijo to the stage to help present the Corporate Leadership Award. And as they make their way to the stage, you can learn more about them and their personal connection to the cause in your programs. And I'd also like to invite Steve back to the stage as well to help present the award. So just come right up whenever you're ready. Anne and Leanne, hi. The inaugural Corporate Leadership Award is presented to a business who demonstrates a strong commitment to skin cancer prevention and support for the melanoma community. Tonight we have two recipients, CVS Health and Johnson & Johnson Consumer Inc. This May, during Melanoma Awareness Month, CVS and Johnson & Johnson took a giant step for skin cancer awareness and prevention by announcing that CVS, my favorite drugstore and also the largest drugstore chain in the United States, will only carry products with an SPF of 15 or higher. I use the CVS spray on my kids. It's so fantastic. It's really, I love it. To replace the products that do not meet these standards, CVS now offers more dermatologist-approved options and a wider variety of natural and organic products. CVS Health is a pharmacy innovation company helping people on their path to better health. Johnson & Johnson Consumer Inc. is one of the world's largest consumer health personal care products companies, and their trusted consumer businesses embrace innovative science to create products that anticipate consumer needs so that we can all live healthy lives. So please join me in welcoming Tom Burke of CVS Health and Pia Kelly of Johnson & Johnson Consumer Inc. to the stage to accept their well-deserved award. Thank you both so much, and congratulations on your award. To help present the next award, I would like to invite co-chairs and personal friends. Oh, just a quick second. Oh, Pia, I'm so sorry. You guys come up and say some nice words.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for this prestigious award. On behalf of CVS Health, Johnson & Johnson, and our colleagues joining us here tonight, we are honored to receive this Corporate Leadership Award demonstrating our commitment to sun safety. At CVS, our purpose is to help people on the path to better health. And earlier this year, we launched a multi-platform campaign called Long Live Skin, aimed at increasing the awareness on skin health, sun safety, and the importance of proper skin care. We launched this campaign in May in recognition of Skin Cancer Awareness Month to ensure that our colleagues, consumers, were aware of the importance of sun protection. We are so fortunate to have partners like Johnson & Johnson who help us promote the campaign and continue to work with us to support organizations like the Melanoma Research Foundation.
I'd like to echo Tom's sentiments and add how pleased we are to be in such good company with other award recipients, especially those receiving the Courage Awards tonight. At Johnson & Johnson, we are committed to fighting skin cancer by helping to educate and empower consumers to be more proactive about their skin health. And we couldn't do it without partners like CVS and all of you. We've worked with many of you in the room tonight to advance our shared mission by donating sunscreen to families in need, educating with sun-safe behavior curriculum, and providing skin cancer screenings. We couldn't be more proud to support your efforts to uncover new treatments for melanoma and work towards finding a cure. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Congratulations to both of you and to CVS and Johnson & Johnson. Both great, great companies. I just got my flu shots at CVS too, so thank you. Took the 3 kids and everybody. We got it done nice and quick, so thank you. To help present the next award, I would like to invite co-chairs and personal friends of Dr. Carvajal, that's Todd Hazelcorn and Matthew Sadowski, to the stage. Love cheering sections. And they are going to help present the Cure OM Vision of Hope Award. Welcome, guys. This award is presented to a leader in the ocular melanoma medical community who has committed to fighting this rare disease through exemplary patient care, cutting-edge research, and scientific leadership. Dr. Richard Carvajal is the Director of Experimental Therapeutics and Director of the Melanoma Service at Columbia University Medical Center. He focuses on novel therapies for patients with melanoma and other cancers with the overall objective of controlling and curing these diseases. To achieve this goal, he has used our increasing knowledge of the underlying biology of cancer to rapidly integrate novel and immunotherapeutic agents to improve the outcomes of cancer patients everywhere. And his research includes the study and treatment of uncommon clinical and molecular subsets of melanoma, such as melanomas arising from the eye, from the mucosal surfaces of the body, not a word I usually use from a podium, and from palms of the hands, soles of the feet, and under the fingernails. Anybody know who had melanoma of their toe and died at an early age? Bob Marley, that's right, Bob Marley. I tell my kids that. So please join me in congratulating Dr. Carvajal.
Wow, I am completely overwhelmed, I have to say, at the amount of support that you all have given to a cause that is so important to all of us here, and that is to find the cure for melanoma, to make this a disease that does not take any more lives. I've been told to stay on script, all right, so this is probably for the best. But something that I do want to say is I in particular want to thank the Melanoma Research Foundation. And I did want to highlight someone who's, I think, very critical to our effort, Dr. Sarah Selig, who's here, who founded Cure OM. The efforts that they have made to bring to the forefront a disease that is so rare that most people in the world have never heard of this is really amazing. To think that a melanoma that can arise from the eye is actually a thing, most people don't know that. And despite the fact that we've made major advances in the treatments for patients with skin melanoma, with immunotherapy and targeted therapy, unfortunately, those advances, those successes have not translated to patients with ocular melanoma, so there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Now, this is a rare disease, and it actually wasn't until about 5 or 6 years after I finished medical school that I first heard about this disease. And it's around that time that I first met a patient with this disease. And at that time, I was a fellow. I was in clinic with Dr. Gary Schwartz, who was my mentor then, who's a fantastic friend and my mentor now. You know, back then, we did treat a lot of patients with ocular melanoma on clinical trials. You know, this is a disease for which there are no effective therapies that we have available now. So the standard therapy is a clinical trial. And unfortunately, some of these trials just didn't work. And I remember very vividly one day in clinic, and we had to tell a patient the treatment just wasn't working. It was not controlling the cancer. And Gary called up his lab and said, "We have to fix this." He told his lab, "Let's get all of the cell lines of ocular melanoma, let's understand the biology, and let's develop treatments specifically for this disease." And since that time, I've been in a very fortunate position to work with his laboratory, take the findings there, and develop treatments specifically for ocular melanoma to try to improve outcomes for this disease. And I've been extremely fortunate to be able to work with investigators at major cancer centers around the country and around the world so that we can bring these therapies to patients not just in New York, but elsewhere in the country and elsewhere in the world. And I've been very fortunate to have the trust of patients and their families to guide them through the treatment course. I'm overwhelmed with this award, and it is with great humility that I accept it, but I only accept it on behalf of that entire community. It's the researchers, the clinicians, the patients and the loved ones. This is a team. We have to work as a team, and together we can beat this disease. And so really, on behalf of the entire team, I thank the MRF, I thank all of you for your support, and I'll leave it there. I think I made it in my 3 minutes that they gave me, so thank you very much.
Congratulations, Doctor, and your entire team. It is now my pleasure to present this year's Humanitarian Award, and I would like to ask our co-chairs, Roberta Gantz and Elaine Tack, and board chair Steve Silverstein to join me on stage. The Humanitarian Award is presented to a leader in the local medical community who is committed to fighting melanoma through exemplary patient care. In the case of Dr. Ellen Marber, she was nominated to receive this award not only for her compassionate and thorough care of her patients, but because she lives the message of skin cancer prevention and early detection, because she is a melanoma survivor herself. She has used her personal story to help educate others about the risks of skin cancer and the importance of our yearly skin checks. Dr. Marber is a leading board-certified dermatologist and dermatologic surgeon. She's a recognized expert in skin cancer diagnosis, Mohs surgery, reconstructive surgery, cosmetic surgery, and women's health dermatology. And prior to starting her own private practice, she spent 9 years as the first vice chair of surgical and cosmetic dermatology at Mount Sinai Medical Center here in New York City. Her clinical research specialized in genomic analysis of the effects of sun exposure and aging on skin. I'd like to spend some time with her. At Mount Sinai, she created the first skin cancer and anti-aging biobank and bridged a pioneering collaboration between the Department of Genetics and Genomic Science and the Department of Dermatology. Yes, she is a rock star. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Marber on her award.
Is Liz Hale your doctor? Yes. Dr. Hill, she's the best, right?
Thank you. What a beautiful, beautiful event. Good evening. Thank you. I'm honored and happy to be here with you. And FYI, I've probably seen more naked people than all of you combined. Right? Good. No judgments, no judgments. There are 3 important words to describe our being here tonight: humanitarian, award, melanoma. Remember the classic college essay question: What is your greatest weakness? When I was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, I had an epiphany. My greatest weakness was that I suffered when others suffered. As much as I tried to contain that empathy, I could not. On our epic summit night in the freezing cold dark, one hiker on our team became delirious and from altitude sickness and was held back from our group. I was torn apart when we had to leave her behind with our guide. But later, when she miraculously appeared at the summit, I understood how incredibly strong people can be, especially when they are suffering the most. Melanoma survivors must be courageous in the face of this life-threatening diagnosis, and their support systems must be equally courageous. Humanitarians are humans who care about each other, and your presence in this room tonight speaks to that remarkable word. The second word is award. I could bestow upon you all of the reasons I feel unworthy of this award, but instead, let me thank you. Thank you to the esteemed MRF, to my crazy, wonderful family who allows me the time to be passionate about skin cancer prevention and to lead hikes all over the world for this cause. Thank you to my team at Marber Medical, who makes me love my work every day, looking at thousands and thousands of spots on your skin in the quest to find skin cancers early. And most of all, thank you to my lovely patients and wonderful colleagues, many of whom are here tonight, who help make early treatment of melanoma so successful. Finally, and why we are together tonight, melanoma. The same cells that produce your beautiful suntan to protect our skin's DNA from UV damage are the same cells that lose control and become deadly. At this moment, the leading cause of cancer death in women ages 25 to 30 years old is still melanoma. I cannot tell you how terrible it feels to find a bad advanced melanoma on someone's skin, to look in their scalp or have them pull up their sleeve and see a lesion that I just know is terrible. It's heartbreaking to tell them they have stage 4 melanoma or even stage 3 melanoma, because until recently, there was no cure. But thanks to research, now there are dozens of new FDA-approved treatments that block melanoma in its path. Yes. There will be a day when there is no more skin cancer. But until then, let's pour our support into the vital Melanoma Research Foundation to help continue research for better, faster, safer cures for melanoma. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Marber. And I'm glad you reminded everyone about that it's the leading cause of death for women in their 20s. That was something I learned about my own melanoma diagnosis. I'm in my 40s, but that really stunned me, and I think should be a wake-up to all young women, to mothers and fathers, too, about just how dangerous melanoma can be. Congratulations. Steve Silverstein and I now have the opportunity to present a very special award this evening. It's a posthumous Courage Award to Dr. Daniel T. Mcmenamin. I would like to read something his partner, Susie O., wrote. We lost Dan on March 6th of this year, just a month shy of what would have been his 41st birthday. After the uveal melanoma that had been treated in 2013 metastasized to his liver, Dan and I began a year-long quest. Not a losing battle against an incurable disease, but a quest for experimental treatments and a quest for a meaning to this horrible disease. Dan persevered through emotional and physical pain, through infusions and surgeries and debilitating side effects of medications, not because he felt compelled to wage war, with a big C, but because his loved ones and patients relied on him, and because he hoped to find some ultimate wisdom that he could share with others. In fact, that was the 8th item on his bucket list: learn as much about death, dying as I can, to teach others. Think about that. Dan's persistent search for and drive to share knowledge and truth and meaning was a quality that most defined him as a person and as a physician. Psychiatry was the ideal field for Dan because it married his love for the art of empathetic conversation with his love of science and medicine. Dan always said that the meaning of our life is our relationships. When I read that, that just struck me because I believe that too. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your relationships. We are here tonight, Susie says, to continue to honor Dan by furthering his legacy of love. So please join me in welcoming his partner, Susie, to accept this Courage Award in honor of Dan and his courageous fight against ocular melanoma. Thank you, Susie. Thank you for that beautiful letter and for being here. Thank you. For our next award, I'm going to invite Dr. Caraval back on stage again. The Compassionate Care Award is presented to an individual in the local medical community who has shown compassion, dignity, leadership, and a patient-centered approach to those in their care. This year, we are pleased to present this award to Nurse Amanda Carter. Amanda received her training at the Columbia University School of Nursing and completed a Master of Science degree in 2015, graduating as a family nurse practitioner. In her time working with Dr. Caraval, she has been inspired and motivated by his approach to patient care, as well as his clear respect and admiration for nurses. She recently expanded her role to work closely with Dr. Brian Marr, Director of Ophthalmic Oncology at Columbia University Medical Center, as Columbia embarks on building a truly comprehensive treatment program for patients with uveal melanoma. So please join me in congratulating Amanda on her award. I'm a journalist, so I had to ask her. She's 7.5 months pregnant. Doesn't she look great? Look at that baby bump. Finally, I'm honored to present Courage Awards to the brave individuals who faced melanoma with strength and grace. Melanoma, as we've learned tonight, does not discriminate by age, race, or gender. Melanoma is also not just skin cancer. It can develop anywhere on the body, such as the eyes, scalp, nails, feet, and mouth, and if not caught early, melanoma can become rapidly deadly. Tonight, we celebrate these brave individuals who are willing to share their story and help create awareness about this disease. I encourage you to read their full bios in the program. Our first award tonight is presented to Paige Holt. Paige is a 3-year survivor of stage 4 melanoma. She found her disease as a pineapple-sized tumor in her abdomen a few months shy of her 29th birthday. Amidst this challenging diagnosis, she is grateful to have found community and friendship with both fellow survivors and some of the extraordinary healthcare professionals that dedicate their lives to patients and science. Please join me in congratulating Paige on her award. Our next award this evening is presented to Kim Hunt. Let's give her a round of applause. Kim says the day Dr. Marber gave her the news that she had melanoma was by far the scariest day of her life. After the successful removal of the melanoma lesion, Kim has dedicated herself to being an advocate for sun safety and skin cancer prevention by contributing to skin cancer-related articles in popular health and beauty magazines. She's also participated in national TV news segments about skin cancer. So Kim, congratulations on your award and thanks for all that you do. Yeah, everybody stay up here. Our third award this evening is presented to Christopher Westdyke. Christopher is now 21 years old, but when he was just 16 years old, a mole that was removed from the back of his scalp was diagnosed as stage 4 metastatic melanoma. Thus began Chris's battle. He immediately had surgery at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York for the initial lymph node removal, and of the 41 lymph nodes removed, evidence of disease was found in 1. Despite setbacks, Chris has benefited from some of the most recently developed melanoma therapies. Chris maintains a positive, forward-looking attitude, an active and healthy lifestyle, and has a huge cheering squad in the room. So please join me. in congratulating Chris. One more, yeah, we have one more, sorry. Our final award this evening is presented to Aaron Davis. Aaron is the father of 6 children who he adores and occasionally believes the feeling is mutual. He spent most of his career in IT, helping to build American Power conversion from a small local company into a global powerhouse of $3 billion in revenue. He was diagnosed in August 2016 with a large class 2 tumor in his left eye. He received proton beam treatment soon after and lost sight in the affected eye. He joined an immunotherapy trial with Dr. Caraval's team and to date has been free of metastases. So please join me in congratulating Aaron on this award. And I would now like to ask Chris and Aaron to say a few words on behalf of this year's Courage awardees. So please welcome them to the podium.
All right. Hello. That's really loud. I'm Chris Westdyke, as you might already know, and I was first diagnosed with melanoma 4 years ago during the summer before my junior year of high school. That July, I had head and neck surgery and soon afterwards started my first year of targeted therapies. I also was, and still am, a really serious distance runner and an important member of my high school's cross-country team. Yeah. So my first race back that fall was our team's annual road trip to Warwick, Rhode Island. I can remember my coach, who is somewhere out here tonight, Mr. Barnacle, asking me the night before the race whether I wanted to race varsity or JV the next day. And I, being a cocky teenage athlete, didn't think twice about my answer. The next day, I lined up with my teammates to start the varsity race. And then the gun went off, and I panicked. I finished dead last. It was embarrassing at the time, but over the next few months, I regained my confidence and finished out my high school's career with some dignity. Looking back now, I can see that this story is a good metaphor for what organizations like the MRF have done for me. Even though some days or weeks are challenging while I'm on treatment, there always seems to be better times to look ahead to, which are well worth working towards. When I began treatment 4 years ago, several doctors told me, you can go on interferon, which we don't think works, or you can try this new stuff, which we haven't quite figured out yet. I think my presence here tonight is a pretty strong indication that those newer treatments work just fine. But without organizations like the MRF and donors like you, that new stuff never would have existed. And it is only because of that new stuff that I'm still here today. So thank you all so much for coming out tonight. And thank you all those who have stood by me over those last 4 years, particularly the doctors, nurses, friends, and my amazing family who are out here in force tonight for standing by me all that time. No words can properly thank you enough. And with that, I hand it off to Aaron.
Thanks, Chris. So just make sure you have these within arm's length because in about 7 minutes you're going to be needing them. I wanted to wish everybody a good evening and thanks to all of our Courage Award story. I know you guys are wondering, was I able to successfully get the Eiffel Tower removed from my head? And as you can see, I was, so thank you. But each of us on either side of the stage has our own story, and the best parts of life are when our stories intersect and interact in very unexpected ways. So I want to thank the team for MRF for giving us the opportunity to become part of each other's stories. And I'm part of Chris's story, I hope. We'll find out in a minute. But let's face it, these are Courage Awards, but brave people run towards danger. They run towards the sound of the guns. That's not me, okay? Given the choice, I don't believe Kim, Paige, Chris, or I would actively run towards melanoma. But it has tracked us, it has trapped us, and in many cases, it keeps trying to pull us back in. So we are all brave, for sure, but I think given the choice, we'd be very happy cowards if we could. But we weren't given the choice. So we do our part every day. We get up, we press on, we face scanxiety, which is a real thing. Treatment side effects, the social awkwardness of the C word. That's the guy with cancer. That's the gal with cancer. And of course, the sword that's hanging over our heads all the time. And for some of us, the cord it's hanging on is as thick as our wrist. And for some of us, the cord is as thin as a newborn baby's hair. And none of us really know what's happening with that sword. So it's a difficult situation, and it does take courage. So I congratulate my fellow award winners. But we deal with these kind of tips of the iceberg because we have no choice but to deal with them. But you guys are given a choice. Tonight, you made the choice to attend tonight. We appreciate that. No one made you do it. And certainly in New York, there are much more bouncier entertainment options than coming to a cancer charity event. So the good news is you're unlikely to be arrested here. Okay? But it's not impossible. So you, our friends, our family, our medical professional, are our wings of hope. I have a friend here who came from Zambia. Adam's out there to arrive. If you see a guy in a very unusual shirt, say hello, that's him. But you are our wings of hope. You may not be feathery or eat seeds or shit on tourists in Central Park, but you are what we need to keep going. And I mean that both literally and figuratively. And the word hope has a very special meaning for me personally for two reasons. First of all, I'm from Rhode Island, which is the most corrupt state in the whole country. And hope is our state motto. And, you know, I sometimes think it's like hope as in, I hope we are just staying for a visit, or I hope I don't have to live here my whole life. But it's just one word, hope. And sometimes one word is all you really need. For me, I use it a lot. And I'll tell you two sentences I use it in. One is, I hope I get to see that kid drive a car. Or I hope I don't have to tell that kid that there are some problems that super dad can't fix. The second reason hope is important to me is because I like to race bikes, and most of my races involve hoping I would cross the line before I puke out a lung, or hoping the guy in front of me pukes out a lung before I do. It's real pleasant. It's a great sport. But when I was on your side of the stage, I like to ride in cancer charity events from side by side with Lance Armstrong through the hills of Austin. Peter, who's here, was with me on that one. Up famous Tour de France climbs, Alpe d'Huez 6 times in one day, or Mount Ventoux 4 times in one day. It was very, very hard, but it was for a cause I really believed in, which is cancer charity. And I can tell you now that I'm on this side, which is the cancer patient side, all of those days pounding the pedals were nothing compared to 1 hour of actually dealing with melanoma. It's not even close, not even close. So the second time I rode a race called the Pan Mass Challenge, which Keith and Karen are here, who were with me on that one. It's a ride, about 3,000 other cyclists. We ride from Massachusetts, from the west side of Massachusetts to the east side of Massachusetts. It was a very typical summer day, big mistral winds through Provincetown. And as we approached the finish line, I could see a guy about a kilometer in front of me pushing. I said, I can catch him. I gave him everything. I gave it everything I could. And suddenly the dunes opened up, and there was about a half a mile straight away to the finish line. And all along the finish line were small children just clapping rhythmically like this. And I still get chills thinking about it because most of those kids were bald. And it was a charity for pediatric cancer, which is the Pan Mass Challenge, of course. So I was able to be the first one into the showers that day, which was great. I raised $10,000. And at the time, that was 1998, which, if my math is correct, was more or less when my new friend, Chris, was born. And I hope the money I raised back in 1998 helped in some way eventually contribute to the fine young man that you're seeing here. And I think you know in your own lives, fine young men turn out to be amazing old men. So I expect to see that from Chris as well. Speaking of growing old, you know, if we live long enough, every single one of us in this room will have the unfortunate experience of hearing the words, I'm sorry to tell you, but you have cancer. It's inevitable if something else doesn't get you first. So I would hope that you, like me, hope that our friends in the research community continue to make great progress before that day. If you want to hedge your bets a little bit, tonight's a great night to hedge your bets. And to close, I wanted to tell you a final story. I did leave Rhode Island, the state of hope, for about 7 years. I moved to Paris. One of the amazing days, I was out riding on a favorite 100-mile loop to the city of Rouen, which is famous because it's a city where they burned Joan of Arc. I was riding through an amazing landscape, a landscape where you would typically see more cows than horses and more horses than cars. And as I was coming down a very fast switchback, I saw a truck coming at me, which was no big deal. But suddenly, out of nowhere, a black BMW was coming to pass that truck at about 150 kilometers an hour. Only thing stopping it was me. And I closed my eyes. I literally closed my eyes coming down the side of this mountain because I was dead. And then suddenly, the car was gone. I was alive. I heard the birds singing. And I circled twice in that spot, trying to understand how I possibly survived that near miss. It was unreal. And to give you an idea, it took me about 4 weeks to tell my wife about that story. Now, when I was diagnosed with ocular melanoma, it took about 2 minutes to call her. But I've been very lucky because, like most ocular melanoma patients, I have no idea what caused this little bastard to be in my eye. But I do know I have the world's best professionals, and two of the folks you met tonight, Dr. Karjaval and Nurse Carter, who are helping me make sure I have a near miss with that tumor, just as I had with that car. So I've lost my eye, my left eye, but with their help, I hope not to lose anything else. And you know, on hope, there's a great poem from Emily Dickinson. She says, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in our soul, sings the tunes without words, and never stops at all." Because once hope starts, once it stops, there's nothing to fill that void but despair. So we're really counting on you and events like this event tonight to keep our hope going. Now, I mentioned in Rhode Island about the corruption. I mentioned it's the most corrupt state in the country, but I didn't mention its incredible history, the incredible people, the incredible landscape, the ocean, the food. I was talking to Chris's father earlier about Newport, where I currently live. It's a wonderful place to live, and I hope you come visit. So when you think about a near-death experience like a diagnosis of cancer, you have to also think about the near-life experiences that we each have every day. As one simple example, if you see a friendly stranger in Starbucks and you're in the line with them waiting and you don't say hello to them, you've had a near-life experience. You've lost a chance to become part of someone else's story, and they've lost a chance to benefit from you. You've lost a chance to live just a little bit better for that day. If you decide to sleep in and miss a wonderful sunrise, the best sunrise of the year, you had a near-life experience. If you have great service and don't leave a spectacular tip for that bartender or that waitress, you had a near-life experience. If your kid asks for a third or maybe a fourth story and you say, "Not tonight," and you shut off the light, you had a near-life experience. And if you see the most beautiful woman in the world and you don't tell her that's what she is, you had a near-life experience. And by the way, she's at my table over there if you want to say hi. So that last example is either going to get you punched in the face or it might even lead to kids that ask for long bedtime stories, which has been my good fortune. So you, like me, say no to 100 charitable requests for every single one that gets your attention. Your brain saying, "Don't do this," no, when your heart is saying, do it, yes, is a near-life experience. And my advice to you tonight is to let your heart decide. There are literally countless ways to give of yourself. Many of the people that created this event tonight are volunteers. Countless ways to give of yourself to make someone's life better. But I am a bit biased to this one, which is the Wings of Hope. The life you save may be your own. Or it might be mine, but let's not quibble. Let's not quibble over the details. So I want to thank you. I want to say again, congratulations to all of the award winners, including my favorite doctor and my favorite nurse, including my peers on the stage tonight. But thank you for being a part of my story for just a few minutes and doing all you can tonight to make sure that when I die, I'm riding my bike. Thank you.
Let's give him another round of applause. Kim Hunt, Paige Hull, Christopher Westdyke, and Aaron Davis.
Wow. Okay. All right, I just want to thank everyone for your patience and for the amazing speeches and individuals that we heard from tonight. At this point of the evening, I'm Darren Port, by the way, sorry, just so you know who's up here. Most of you know me. And I get the privilege of working with this unbelievable organization for the last 13 years. It's an absolute honor for me, and I'm not going to say a lot because I think they've said it all. What we have an opportunity tonight to do is make a further impact, as Aaron pointed out. And that money will be invested into the research and work that MRF does. And what we do is we fund grants. Every $100,000 you raise funds another grant. It's a 2-year, $50,000 grant. So we're going to need your help to do that. And just so you know, we're close to $1 million. So we really need some help tonight, and I think we can get there. I'm extremely confident. So at this point of the night, we do the Funder grant. You can raise your bid card, which I'll tell you, different level amounts, and then you'll have an opportunity to use your phone that you use for the auction. There's a button that says Pledge, and you can click on that, and you can put in the amount you want to give. But we're going to start right now at the $25,000 level. I'm going to look for commitments at $25,000. With a show of your bid card, pick up your bid card. Don't everyone pick up your bid card because it'll cost you $25,000.
But we're going to look for bid cards. $25,000. Does anyone commit to $25,000 to support the MRF? In the back of the room, I have one. Thank you.
Woo!
Dr. Klein, thank you.
Super.
Former honoree in the back. Thank you very much. Anybody else at $25,000? $25,000?
Now remember, these grants are going to a young researcher who's maybe starting their career. They have a whole field of things to help the world with, and they're choosing to help with melanoma. And I'm thinking of that researcher, and I'm going to raise mine.
All right, Aaron.
25,000.
601 for $25,000. Thank you, Aaron. I'm not at that class yet, so I'm holding on to mine because I will be using it, but not yet. Okay. Anyone else at $25,000? Anyone else going to support Aaron, Dr. Klein? We're at $50,000 already, guys. $50,000, 2 people. Anybody else at $25,000? Okay, we're going to go to $10,000. Looking for a commitment at $10,000. Hold up your bid card for $10,000 if you're willing to support the organization at 10. Okay, read it out.
551.
551. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else at 10,000? 10,000? Anybody?
Now, let's do an exercise. How many people in the room have kids, children? Just raise your hand. You don't have to hold your card. Just raise your hand. It's not a trick. Okay, see, it's not that hard. Now, as you heard, I have 6 children. So I'm going to do another 1,000 for each child. 6,000.
Okay. Aaron's going to do another 6,000. All right, we're at 61,000. Thank you, Aaron. Unbelievably supportive. Anybody else at 10 before I go to the next level? All right, we're going to go to 5,000. Looking for commitments at $5,000. Please hold up your big cards. We got a bunch of them. 378. 4.
Thank you.
497. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
$392. $311.
Thank you.
Anyone else at 5,000? We just raised another 20. Anyone else at 5,000? I know some people are thinking about it. Yes, another one, 615.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else? We're at 86,000 right now. 2,500. I want participation tonight. I don't care what it is, but I need participation. $2,500 commitment to support the cause. We're at 2,500. You see that one?
275. Thank you, sir.
275.
My
Anyone
friend
else
from Zambia. Adam, thank you very much.
Oh, nice. Anyone else at the $2,500 level? Come on, guys. All right.
You really got to be careful lifting this thing. I'm like going like this. I gotta be.
They don't have a
Be
light in their
careful,
eyes.
huh?
All right, we're going to go to 1,000. I'm going to do 1,000. So
495. Thank you.
500,
Thank you, sir.
495, 360,
Thank you.
205, 476. I can't see the one in the back. 629. Someone get the guy in the back. 697, 279.
Thank you.
235, 342,
Thank you.
313.
Thank you, sir.
Scream it out.
396.
396.
Thank you.
Okay, 631.
Thank you.
And I didn't read off the name in the back, but I think someone on my team got that. I think we're right about 100,000, but I want more participation. This is amazing. We just raised $100,000, but we're not at $1 million yet. We're going to need help getting there. We're looking for $500 commitments. Hold up your bid card. Take out your phone. You can use your phone also and do it. If you want to be anonymous, you could potentially write a note, put your name up on the board. $500 commitments. Hold up the bid cards. If you don't have a bid card, hold your hand up. Beautiful woman in the front. Anyone else at 500 in the back? I got two
328.
people.
328. Thank you, sir. 328.
328, thank you. 500, we got 438. There was two all the way in the back. I can't read this far up. All the way in the back, we got 3 of them. Thank you. You guys just raised over $100,000.
Super.
Liz, can we put it up on the screen, the thermometer, so people can do the through their phones? Alrighty. All right. So we're at 30. We know we're a lot higher than that. Some people are doing it on their phones already. Please put it through your phone. You can pay for it right now. You can put it as a pledge, but put it in so we know. And the names will be scrolling on the screen. I want to let you know the silent auction will be closing in about 30 minutes. Please feel free to get your bids in on that. The food is open. The bars are open. The Yankee game is on. And we really, really appreciate you all being here tonight. The silent auction closed at 9 o'clock. So get your bids in. Let's thank all the award recipients again. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you.